say we have a problem, but every night I'm making new best friends, and the only problem is...
Hello. It is Thursday evening. It is 8:30 p.m. And you know what that means? It is once again another episode of Between Two Beers. Tim, shut up.
We are not late.
We start when we
You're
want to
late.
start. All right? Don't start already with the crap.
We've got a guest,
thank you for
guys.
being here,
Be
though.
professional
I know.
in the comments.
Make me start off hot like that.
Ugh.
Anyway, as you can see, we do have a very special guest this evening. We have the interview queen herself, one Alicia Atout, joining us this evening.
Hi.
Hello. How are we doing?
I'm doing really well. How are you both?
I am well. I'm very excited for this. We've been looking forward to this show all week. Pluggo, how are we doing over there, bud?
I'm good. I bought a microphone.
Yes, moving up
Do
in the
I
world.
sound better, guys?
You do.
Please.
You sound like a
Great.
human.
This is all on Spencer's dime. Alicia's here. I bought equipment. Like, I don't think he knows that. He might. I don't know.
They even shipped me some Ferrero Rochers beforehand. Like we went all out on Spencer's budget. Sorry, Spence.
That's right. No, don't be.
Yeah, don't be. We'll get the email after every show like we know,
show-
like we're used to. And oh, yeah, as you can see, already popping in the chat already. Spencer, not thrilled. Not thrilled. But,
you got to spend the money to make the money. That's our motto. So why not spend his money?
That is
But
true.
speaking of which, I'm going to just start off, and I have to ask. So you took part of Love Wrestling's and Force Wrestling's Change the Game back in, oh my God, I'm blanking. We did a show on it.
October.
October. It
October.
was shown on January 1st on us. Is Spencer as cheap in real life as he is with us? Did he allow you guys to have two sauce packets and catering? Or
Yeah, I was gonna say, how was the catering? How was everything there?
I really wish that I could agree with you both and say that a lot of us backstage had that same treatment, but drinks were flowing. It was a good time. We had food. Like, I really can't complain. Spence really went all out for the debut Love Wrestling show. So I have no complaints.
So are we blowing the budget, or is it him actually blowing the budget? Because
That's the way you could spend it in the future, you know.
That is true. Well, I'm glad he took care of the important people that were at that show, and that we have to fight for every damn dime. But anyway, it's okay. I digress.
I don't know if we fight for him as much as we just spend it and send it into accounting and they figure it out. They move the numbers.
They always do.
Lucky them, right?
Oh my God. All right. Well, I mean, I was excited. Obviously, we're going to talk some wrestling, obviously.
Yeah.
But I was very excited when I heard that this was a possibility because I grew up a big metal, new metal, and then I dived into the screamo world afterwards. Like that is kind of my wheelhouse of music. And you work for Knotfest, which I was very excited to chat. I want to know how that came about. Like, have you always been a metal? Were you a metal head growing up? Like, I wanted to talk a little music with you. I was very excited about that kind of music band.
Yeah, wrestling talk on a wrestling show.
You know, I like to find out the other stuff.
I'm the same way on my show, so I really do appreciate that so much. I feel like when you're surrounded by something 24/7, the last thing you want to do is talk about it. So much appreciated. But yeah, when it comes to the music and especially metal, I mean, I grew up with all different genres because of my parents. So one night we'd be spinning new metal, the next night we'd have Philly soul on. So it was all over the place. But I really feel like I started to love metal when I was a teenager. When I was 14 or 15, I got super into System of a Down, Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park. Like, I was all over the place in terms of what I listened to, but I loved it. I just loved the angst and kind of how it made me feel empowered, and it's just really good tunes. And then, fast forward to, I guess it would be last year, since we're in a new year, guys. Didn't know if you knew, but I keep messing that up. But
nope.
fast forward
21.
to... fast forward to March of 2021, I had an email come through my inbox saying Knotfest. That was it. So I clicked it, being aware of what Knotfest was, and it said, hey, we're looking to start up a Twitch network and we're interested in you. Are you available to hop on a call? I thought straight up it was a fake email. So at first I didn't reply for like a day. Then I was like, you know what? Let's write back. Like, let's just see. Of course, it all ended up lining up. I found out that Slipknot were sourcing people themselves for this Twitch network. And I was someone that came up in conversation, and it blew my mind because I had interviewed Corey Taylor in the past with Stone Sour, but never really had any interaction with Slipknot. So to know that I was even in the conversation blew my mind. Next thing you know, we ended up quickly talking numbers, talking over the schedule, how everything was going to run. And now I host a show for them every Monday and Friday on the Knotfest Twitch network, where we have amazing guests on and just shoot the breeze about metal. It's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. When I was in high school, this is going to date me. I'm a little old. I'm 36. So I'm a little older, but, Slipknot was my favorite band, like literally throughout my whole high school tenure. They were like,
that's so cool.
Yeah, so like,
I think
I've seen them live more times than I can count. So
everyone in our age group, because I'm just below you there, Grandpa JPJ. I think Slipknot was that, like, this is the band that we all got introduced to. Like, this is different. We're edgy, you know, like edgy teenagers in high school. But it turns out they're really, you know, fucking good at what they do. Sorry, Spencer. Put that in. You know, so Slipknot, I think, is an awesome band to start off with, you know, for metal heads. I think it's a good entry point, if you will. I think I bought Iowa. Like, I remember going to, because again, dating myself, you had to physically
go to the record store and get CDs.
Pull them out and actually buy them. So,
it's wild. There it is. We got to do a whole stream celebrating the anniversary of Iowa. And of course, they had the Knotfest Iowa show, which happened earlier, or well, not earlier, but a few months back. And yeah, it was just so cool to kind of be a part of it and a part of that community. And for the channel, like, Clown made us our own entrance songs or entrance. See, I'm in this wrestling world constantly. The intro music for our YouTube and for Twitch, and it was just so cool seeing how involved the band actually were, especially during the beginning and the launch stage. So it's just been a really cool opportunity, and I'll never turn down being able to talk about something I love, and you know, you get a check for it. So it's wild being blunt. So yeah, I'm enjoying it so much.
Oh yeah. So I do have a question. If you're in the wrestling world, you're in the metal music world, how are the fan bases similar or different in terms of, like, which one are they both as passionate about their niche as they, you know what I'm saying? I'm terrible at interview questions. That's why you're the interview queen and I'm Pluggo. I don't know how to end the question.
I know what you're getting at, you know? I knew exactly what you were aiming for. No, it's very similar. The fact that they're always so energetic, they'll buy anything that's dropped. Like, it's very similar, but I do have to say the wrestling fans edge it out a little bit. They're just obsessive to the point where I'm like, this is incredible. Like, I've never loved something as much as a lot of wrestling fans do. So that's always kind of blown my mind a little bit, but both of them are very, very passionate about what they love. So it's close, but wrestling does edge it out.
All right. And I know you had said that you had interviewed Corey Taylor before when he was in Stone Sour. Obviously, you being the interview queen, you have done a lot of interviews in your past. Any other musical acts or singers or members of bands that you've interviewed that have really stuck out to you in past interviews?
So one that I completely just lost it afterwards. Like, I'll do a lot of interviews. Like, I've done 26 in a day where I'll walk away and be like, that was pretty cool, but it did not hit me like when I interviewed Ace Frehley from Kiss. I am a massive Kiss fan. Like, grew up listening to them with my dad, will still jam. Like, I love them. So when that interview was confirmed and I got that email and the Zoom link was sent, and I was like, holy shnikes, like, this is going to happen? That was just incredible. Like, I love his solo stuff. Of course, I love the Kiss records. Just seeing what he's doing now with the cover albums is still cool. So that was amazing to me. So I have to say that's the one recent one that completely, I still can't believe it happened. But another one that's up there were Metallica and Motorhead. Like, you just don't think you're going to interview two of the biggest bands in metal, and somehow it happened. And it was earlier on in my career too, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, I'm forever grateful to not only the publicist who made that happen, but also the band who took the time. That's not me sucking up. Like, I'm still like, holy, like, that happened? It was really cool for me.
That's amazing. Detroit Rock City is one of my all-time favorite movies of all time, and song obviously, but like the movie Detroit Rock City, which is based on these high school kids trying to get to a Kiss show. Oh my god, It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch that all the time with my sister growing up, actually. And I remember telling myself, one day I'll get to see a Kiss show. And then that
Yeah.
finally happened 2.5 years ago. So I kept thinking of that film while I was at that gig.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, hi,
How was
Mighty
that?
Joe. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Hi,
Mighty
Joe popping in.
Popped
Hello, my friend. Good to see you. What was that like being a massive Kiss fan for so long and seeing them finally?
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. So the whole scenario for how I got to see them was crazy. There's a company in Finland called Rockfest, and so they actually brought me out down there to do social media for them. And so I'm down there, I'm doing all this stuff. It was funny enough, Slipknot, Kiss, Def Leppard, and Dream Theater. They were the 4 headliners. It was a 3-day festival, and I was down there for a week. And so the publicist is kind of messing with me, like, Kiss is playing tomorrow, right? They're doing a meet and greet, but I don't think we can squeeze you in, but we'll try. So it's the morning of the show. I'm there in my Kiss shirt. She pulls me aside. She's all upset. Like, she's making this face. And she's like, I'm so sorry, Alicia, but we weren't able to get you the Kiss meet and greet. And I'm like, I didn't expect it, but kind of let down. But she goes, just kidding. So not only did I get to meet Kiss in Finland for my job, but then I got to see them perform that night in a foreign country. And the whole thing just was insane to me because the fact that your work brought you to that, just there in general was so beautiful. But then I got to see my favorite band and I'm just getting nostalgic now. It was so cool.
Well,
Were they laid back and chill, or were they like, we're rock stars, like worship?
No, they were laughing with people, and it was really one of those quick meet and greets where you get your photograph, you say your hello, and you're like out.
Right
so
out
they
the
kind
door,
of just fit me in. They just fit me in on the tail end of it. A lot of it was family. I think there were a few fans and then me, and they were done. But they said hello. They smiled in the pictures. They cracked a few jokes. Like, it didn't feel like those douchey meet and greets where it's just like, give me your money and they throw you away.
Yeah.
Partially it's always going to be that, like, no matter what meet and greet, like, of course that's why they're doing it. But yeah, the fact that they were able to squeeze me in such a event like that was fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the
our buddy, the
show,
wordsmith. I can imagine. Was it? Oh my God! The fireworks, the blood with the I've only seen the videos. I've never seen them. But I can imagine, like, just the whole atmosphere, and it's like you're there for a music show, but it's so much bigger than a music show.
And I think that's one of those bands that you don't even have to be a fan of, and you're just going and like,
no,
it's
not at all.
Production value. And by the way, JPJ, sorry, Alicia, to cut you off. My best friend, the wordsmith.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. Yeah, my friend.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. You gotta get it right.
Well, he was in the chat and he asked a question. He said, "Any fun stories from the Motorhead interview?" Asking for a friend.
So we ended up talking about barbecue a fair bit because I found out that they not only like doing barbecues at the shows, but personally, when they're at home, like, they'll get smokers out and do a bunch of stuff. So the conversation went from talking music and touring and kind of, that stuff to their hobbies and how Maggie was talking about how he would go outside to just cut the lawn, how it was kind of like a little escape from tour life, and just these really cute kind of everyday things that we would just think nothing of. But when you're on the road so frequently, you kind of crave those mundane things. So yeah, it was just a really chill conversation, which are my favorite types. But when we got to talk barbecue, I love food. I love barbecue. My dad's always barbecuing. So it's like, all right, now my language, let's go.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man,
what's your favorite piece of barbecue? If you're at a barbecue, what's the go-to?
Pulled pork, but I'm like, I love the barbecue, but I also love when they have sides that are smoked. Like, I once had this, it was mashed potatoes that they put in the smoker, cheddar cheese on top. Like, it was just.
That sounds right up my alley. That sounds right up my alley right
now
there.
I'm hungry. I'm gonna go.
At a barbecue, yeah, I love sides as well at a barbecue. I'm a sucker for just a good old, like, really well made, like, macaroni salad or pasta salad on the side of. That's it. It's the Italian.
If we stop blowing the budget, maybe Spencer will have a Love Wrestling barbecue. I don't know how Canadian barbecue differs from American barbecue, but
it's not as good.
To find out.
No? It's not as good. Okay, I'll ask you this: where have you had
Canada?
Yeah. So I want to. Where have you had the best barbecue Where have you had the best barbecue you've ever had then?
Yeah, so growing up, we used to do these road trips down south as a family, and so we did Memphis, we had Nashville, we were in Kansas, like every kind of cool hotspot for barbecue we went to. I think my favorite though was probably Memphis barbecue because they use that sweet and smoky sauce on top. I'm not a
Yeah.
huge fan of the vinegar-based ones or the white sauces.
Mhm.
So that was amazing. So we had some great barbecue there. It's just different. Like I feel like when you go to Toronto to get barbecue, it's like it's more hipster and they're just doing it because it's cool. Meanwhile, when you're down south, it's just so authentic.
It's
Like
like
for
It's a way of
MLW next
life.
week,
it's literally a lifestyle,
it
like a
really
way of
is.
life. Yeah.
So for MLW next week, we're going to be in Dallas, Texas for one of our
Oh,
shows,
yeah.
and I am just so excited for the barbecue
Mhm.
and Buc-ee's. Like I just can't wait to eat. I just want food. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah. I went to Dallas the year that WrestleMania was there, 32, so a handful of years ago. And that was like, I was obviously excited. I'm like, oh, I'm going to WrestleMania. Like, this is gonna be cool as hell. But
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, bro, I want to eat. Like, I want to have a
Right.
good steak. I want to have a nice steak there and barbecue. And yeah.
For sure.
So yeah,
I
for sure.
plan my trips around food. Like whenever we're touring for MLW, whenever we have dates, I always pre-look up
And-
what's close to the hotel, what's close to the venue.
Yeah.
You fit right in here on Between Two Beers because we do the same thing.
Yeah. And
I
the
love
words.
it.
Any vacation, I'm like, where can I hit a
Oh
hot
my God.
spot
Yeah. I
that,
do
like-
research weeks in advance. I'm like, oh, I'm going here. All right. Here's like the best 10 restaurant. Okay, here it is. Like, let's go.
I do no research for this show that we love dearly, but I will look at food reviews.
I'll be on Yelp for
I get
3
it.
hours a night before we
You know,
go.
like
We gotta go there.
Joe Schmo 876 said, "Stay away from the baked beans."
We have our friend Joel Pearl in the chat. He says, Alicia, how do we get Daniel Decay into wrestling? And
You
then
know
he
what?
also yelled at us for the Toronto slander as well.
So sorry about that. I do love where I'm from. I promise. It's just that barbecue can use a little work. That's all. But in terms of Decay, I should hit him up and see if we can do some wrestling stuff because he's incredible at shooting the breeze when it comes to music, of course, and playing guitar. But to go into that whole wrestling realm, I've yet to do that with him. So maybe that's something that can happen in the future.
That would be an interesting. So we've got the butcher who's in Every Time I Die,
Yep.
and he's in the wrestling. What other metal band head figures would you think would be awesome as a wrestler? Could their persona, or just maybe they are very agile on stage, and you think they could do some flips in a ring? Who would you put in a wrestling ring from the metal world?
So I've been listening to a lot of Turnstile lately. Now, a lot of people will say, like, that's not crazy metal because it's hardcore. It's like, nah, that shit's like, it's sorry, Spence is going in the jar, my bad. But that new record, Glow On, like, it's my favorite album of 2021. It was just incredible. The time changes, the harmonies, the ethereal indie rock parts, like, it was just perfection. So I just think that they would be so much fun because they're clearly creative guys, but on stage they put on a wild show.
I was going to ask if you've seen them live because they are
I actually,
wild.
funny enough, saw them at the Every Time I Die Tid the Season show like 3 years ago. So it's so weird to bring up the butcher and then of course like the whole tie-in. But it would be great.
I've seen you post a couple things that you've been listening to, like Underwater Boy off that record and things like that. And I'm like, yo, I've been telling Pluggo, like, Turnstile is so dope. You got to listen to Turnstile. They're like groovy surfer punk almost, but they're like heavy and gritty. Like they're good. They're real good.
Like I enjoy finding new music, and that's why I turn to JPJ because he keeps his ear to the grindstone of new music. But I'm just like I can't. It's tough for me to break away from like what I know, and what I know is that early 2000s era, and I stick to that. And then every once in a while, I'll throw something new in there. But like I've seen Every Time I Die live, and that is insanity.
Well,
and I didn't feel good after I got home.
Well,
it was one of those shows where it's like, maybe I'm not a guy that's supposed to be in the pit anymore.
I can't do pits.
No?
Like I just I've never been that person ever. Like I always kind of will stand by the side, and I always say this, and then I feel like such a douche after. But like side stage if I can, like hell yeah, I'll just watch the action.
That's
from
where
there.
I reside. That's where I reside. Most venues, if you go down and you get there at a good time, You go on the side, you can get as close as you want to the stage because everyone's rushing for the floor because that's what
Right.
they want to. That's where you want to go. So they go there, and you're like, oh, I'm like 15 feet away from these people. I'm just off to the side. I'm old. I want to sing
No,
and
I just
hop around and
can't.
do like whatever.
I don't want to
you know?
get hurt. I bruised like a peach. I had a bad experience when I was like 16. I saw Arctic Monkeys and got completely just gut checked. And I said,
Ugh.
screw this. Like, I'm
Yeah.
here to have fun. I'm not here to kill the person beside me. So,
and you're
you
paying
know?
a pretty penny, like for some of these shows, and then to just go home. Like the last time I went to see Under Oath live, and I was in the pit because it's call back to my youth.
Was this the reunion tour where they played
The
like
reunion
the
tour?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And then my shirt ended up getting ripped, and some kid called me the cool old guy in the pit, and I just was like, you know what?
What hurt more? What hurt more,
Right.
the shirt being ripped or that comment?
The
It was
shirt
that
I
comment, wasn't it?
I could pass with. It
You
was
can
the
replace the
comment. I
shirt.
said, you know what? I think I'm going to be side of the stage guy
Oh,
now.
Aw.
But I also the 3 days after where I was sore, like it's
Yeah.
done.
That's never
Like, I
fun.
think-
It really isn't. And it kind of just put me in a state after that happened. And it's been 11 years since that happened, and I haven't been in a pit since. So I'm like,
Mm,
bye.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
probably get better seats now anyway. Side stage is where it's at.
For sure.
For sure. Drinks aren't getting spilled, which are expensive at concerts, and people aren't
Mhm.
trying to bum rush the side of the stage.
That
And
was my
usually you get a
favorite
good
thing.
view.
No, you do. That was my favorite thing once I actually started to interview bands, because I started this whole thing as a hobby. I never expected any money from it or a career. Like, it was just, oh my gosh, I don't have to pay for meet and greets anymore, and I can talk to the bands I love for free. This is
Yeah.
amazing. So then it got to the point where like they started inviting me to the shows afterwards, and there was food and beer. I'm like, this is dope. Like, this is what 12-year-old Alicia was like, oh, please, this is great. So it's
Yeah.
just so much fun. Then you make friends who are in them, and it just kind of turns into this whole community. And it's funny, it really kind of prepped me for wrestling, because in wrestling I don't see these dudes every day, especially in MLW, but when we see each other once a month, it's like, yeah, we're together again. It's the camaraderie. So I kind of got that used to that through music, because bands would tour through every 6 months, and I'm like, yeah, I get to hang with my friends again. So
Yeah.
kind
That's
of like
cool.
there are all these little weird tie-ins.
That's very, very cool. Man, I love that Turnstile record. I know we got to move on, but I love that Turnstile
I
record.
could
It's
spend
so
this
good.
entire show talking about
It's
it.
so good. Oh my
so
God.
good.
It's incredible. We do have a couple wrestling questions
Yes,
in
we should
the chat.
answer those.
So I guess we should chat a little bit about MLW.
Let's
It is
do it.
like Pluggo said at the beginning, it is a wrestling show. So
We are the wrestling show on Love Wrestling that tries to avoid talking wrestling
about
with
wrestling
guest
as much
on,
as we can.
but we got to give the fans what they want. So MLW, I think Bobby had a great question to lead us off. Why don't we start with Bobby? He's a good friend of the show. He wants to know. I can't read. Sorry.
So I'll read it. He said, hello, Alicia. Which indie wrestlers do you want to see get an opportunity to wrestle on MLW's women's roster?
I haven't figured out the setup yet. I don't
Ooh,
know.
okay. So someone that we actually had in previously for a show that I would just love to be signed, because we're building up the women's roster now, especially with how things are going. Just in terms of seeing the growth and the numbers and new cities that we're going to be in, I would love to see Holliday just on full time. She is genuinely one of my favorite people to watch. She's crazy. She's crazy out of the ring as much as she is in it. Like, I love her so much. So being able to just see her, kind of going back to the friend thing a little bit too, but just being able to see her more frequently and just watch her great matches against fantastic people. I'm all for that. And then she actually wrestled Nicole Savoy at one of our tapings. And Nicole, I've always loved watching her wrestle, and we always get to talk about Pop-Tarts and games. So like, I would love to have those two girls on a lot more often. So I know that they've already been on there. Yeah, she talks about she's obsessed with Pop-Tarts.
Favorite Pop-Tart?
Favorite. Let's go.
The raspberry ones with the little red sprinkles on top, raspberry Pop-Tarts. Or blueberry is a close second.
Blueberry.
This is good. This is going to be controversial. The brown sugar cinnamon ones are my.
That's okay.
Those are good. I'm not going to fight you on that. Those are good.
My favorite. I am old and very plain. I like my number one is blueberry unfrosted.
Unfrosted.
Right. Yeah,
I don't even know if I've had a Pop-Tart.
That's one of the few things I'm truly an old man with.
Who sits there? Who sits there? Stop
I'm craving an unfrosted.
Who sits there at the aisle and sees the frosted blueberries, the unfrosted, and goes, this one.
this comment that just came through from Doug in the chat, he was a roommate of mine, so he knew.
Okay.
So that's what he said. Joe eats Pop-Tarts with no sugar. With no, I
That's
really,
hilarious.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and apparently Sean Ross Sapp, according to Joel Pearl, is an unfrosted weirdo like me. But that
Interesting. Friend
my
of the show.
my top 2 Pop-Tarts are blueberry unfrosted and brown sugar cinnamon unfrosted. That's right.
Okay.
That's right. So
Those are good choices. I can't argue.
no, I
feel
mean,
like
I have been judged my whole life because
won't
I don't
judge
do
you here.
frosted.
I
We
just
won't
Judge my
you
whole
there.
life.
Just a little bit.
I like certain things that aren't as sweet. Like I drink sparkling waters. I think I prefer those over pop. But like when I'm looking at Pop-Tarts, all the craziness that they've been putting out, they'll stuff anything in those, and you're just like
that's the crazy
unfrosted
thing
blueberry.
now. That's
Thing is,
truly the
though,
crazy thing now. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they're much different in the States. Like if I go to a Walmart and just look at
Oh.
Pop-Tarts there or cereal, like the selection there is
Ridiculous.
just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Here we have the standards that we kind of just mentioned. I'd say there's maybe like 5 on the shelf. When I go down
Okay.
there, like anytime I'm filming with Selena De La Renta and I'm down there, we always do our Walmart run and different things for stuff. And I'm always like, just let me shop snacks for a hot minute because I love taking things
Probably
back
a
with me.
ton more. Yeah, a ton
friend
more
of the,
options all
our
the way
friend
around.
of the show, Tim, actually sent me a link earlier today of a comedian that was talking about that exact thing. He's like, in Canada, he's from Canada. He's like, in Canada, they have 1 Captain Crunch. In the
Yes.
States, you guys have 10.
I didn't even know there were others. Like, that's the thing.
I'll have to send it over to you guys and let you.
Please do.
It's like spot on. He's like, yeah, you'll have like 19 different flavors of Pop-Tarts to there's just 3.
I'm not making this up. It's insane. And I wish I could just bring a refrigerator with me back home because I'm obsessed with those Pillsbury. What are they called? Like those sugar cookies that they do that are pre-cut.
Oh, yeah.
And they're delicious, but they have so many different kinds in the States. I wish I did actually once take those back with me.
Here in America, we will stuff anything into anything, and it doesn't matter if it makes sense or not. We'll put it on shelves, and they'll buy it. We've got fruity. I saw this the other day: Fruity Pebble syrup and pancake mix coming out.
Oh God,
that true? Yeah. See, and that's even the thing for me. Like I've obviously grown up in the States my whole life. When I was a kid, it was 4 or 5 different flavors of Pop-Tarts. You had the standards and like the s'mores maybe or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you take that corner to that aisle, the whole first fourth of the aisle is Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, buddy.
And there's different colored boxes. I'm like, what the hell?
And you go with unfrosted blueberry.
You're damn right I do every time. Every time.
I don't even
Judge
know if
me
I
all
can
you
continue
want.
doing the show.
I've been judged my
with
whole
that
life
knowledge,
about
it changes everything.
That's it.
Everything.
Sorry.
Is Spencer here? Is Spencer live in our chat today? Because we're talking MLW. And I think this would be a good segue. I think we should get it out of the way now. Alicia, I don't know if you're aware. We were in a little hot water having you on. Spencer loves you. He thinks you're one of the best people in the world. We obviously do as well. But he also told us going forward, we need to tighten up the purse strings a little bit. And we didn't take too kindly to that. So we have MLW open weight champion Alex Kane with a little message for Spencer Love.
I love Kane.
Roll the tape.
This is your MLW National Openweight Champion, the Suplex Assassin, Alex Kane. And I'm here to let you know that your flagship show, Between Two Beards, will not be adhering to any budgeting restrictions. And if I hear about this again, I will be showing up to Love HQ, and you will be getting all of this work.
Yes. I'm so happy. I was literally just messaging Kane. You did not do that.
Yeah. I want to come out and I want to say I'm sorry it got to this, Spencer, but we are trying to Pluggo is not.
You guys, you've put me in an odd spot. Like Kane's fantastic. He's been an amazing champ as well over at MLW. Spencer's like a brother to me. I don't know who to cheer for right now. I'm sorry that that's happening, Spence, but I don't know.
As long as the check cleared, Alicia, you should be good, right? Like,
I'm not worried about me.
Listen, he keeps telling us, we got to tighten up budget this, but something about fiscally responsible was like a goal of ours in our performance review. But look, we can't stop giving the people what they want. And Alex Kane, who's a former guest of ours, awesome, like you said, he's doing amazing work. Him and Calvin Tankman on MLW is one of my favorite storylines going right now. We had to call in the big guns. We had Spencer.
Boomaye!
Boomaye, it's your move, Spencer Love. Your move. This might be the last show in between two.
I feel like we always are like slightly crossing the line. I think threatening might have,
Well, I'm honored to be your last guest.
I was going to say, I mean, what a way to go out if this is truly it, than having Alicia here. I mean, that's quite the last guest.
So you mentioned it earlier when you said because MLW, I think everybody knows, tapes monthly. They do like maybe 4 or 5. I don't know the actual schedule, but they tape a bunch of shows at one time. And you said it's like getting together with your family on tour and or meeting up with your tour friends. What is the atmosphere back there? Because MLW, I think I still tell people, is criminally underrated as a promotion. Yes. And I just what is that mindset back there? Is everybody hungry to hey, we want to be like the 3rd, 4th brand. We want to make a run at the AEWs of the world.
Yeah. So the atmosphere is always just it's always so pleasant to be around. It's such a brotherhood, and I've never had a single issue in that locker room. And I've had issues in every other locker room that I've been in. And that's me saying that after being with the company for a little over 2 years now, through a pandemic, through ups and downs in terms of what the world's going through right now, making adjustments. And it's always been, hey, we're here to take care of you. We're here to listen to what you have to say. And that's just in terms of the higher ups. When it comes to just the camaraderie, I love these dudes. I'm the kind of person where I don't really like going out after shows a whole lot. I like going to my room and ordering and food and stuff and watching Seinfeld and going to bed. When I'm at the MLW evenings, we just like doing things together, and I love that so much. So yeah, the camaraderie is fantastic amongst everyone. And then when it actually comes to just building the brand, we definitely have goals. I know that Court's always behind the scenes just working on bigger, better, crazy goals and plans. There's some stuff coming up. This is going to be the biggest taping for me when it comes to my career with MLW. The ones in Dallas next week, they just told me things, and I'm very excited. So it's just continuing to grow, continuing to push who they believe in, which really is the entire roster. I think the opportunities for people's fantastic, and everyone's hungry. When you're signed to that company, I think because some people look at it as the underdogs, they don't know what's coming. And they watch an episode and they think, oh my gosh, the production on this is great. People can talk on the mic unlike any other. It's just gritty, it's raw, and that's why I love being there. I also have creative freedom, I can really pitch my ideas, and they don't get turned down like a lot of other spots. So yeah, I really don't.
It's got a really awesome sports feel to it. And I think for just personal, getting Alex Hammerstone to re-sign was huge because that guy was on anybody's short list of a free agent, right? So having him in the fold, and Alex Kane, an up-and-comer who's doing amazing stuff. I think like I said, if you're watching our show right now and you're not watching MLW, please check it out. But you mentioned Seinfeld, so now I have to know, favorite episode of Seinfeld.
Oh my gosh, there's so many.
I know.
There's the black and white cookie, the marble bread where Jerry takes it from the woman. There's the contest. Of course, there's yada yada yada. There's the cabin. I could go on and on with my favorite episodes. I literally just rewatched every single season about 2 months ago. Before that, to get prepped for the new Curb Your Enthusiasm season, which was phenomenal, phenomenal. I watched all of Curb again, so I've just been on a Larry David kick. There's something about Seinfeld, in my opinion, it is the best show of all time. I can never get enough of it. I think it's so relatable across the board, and it's hilarious. It's so funny.
They were number one in our draft when we had one of
them. They were. We had a sitcom draft, and they were.
Now that it's on Netflix, it's much easier to watch. I mean, no offense to Hulu. I love Hulu, but the commercials kill me. So
we don't get Hulu here. So I was so happy once they put it on Netflix, because before, you can search certain episodes and find them, but to have the entire catalog in one spot, I instantly started watching it the day it dropped, and then I just didn't stop.
look to the black and white cookie, Elaine. We can end race relations.
It's sad. I
Oh.
think I make a Seinfeld or Curb reference almost every day of my life.
I've
just because
honestly
there's so
never
many.
seen Curb.
Really?
I need to.
Stop.
I will.
Yeah, you got to get on that, man.
You must.
There's a
It's
whole
the
there's a
best.
whole Seinfeld's like season almost like later on in the show
Yeah.
where they have a
Really?
reunion and it's built around a Seinfeld reunion. I mean, the whole show's good, but like,
Now I
yeah,
got
Yeah.
homework.
you got to watch.
I
that.
need
That's
I need
hilarious.
I need a new old show. I like to binge watch old shows that I maybe didn't watch live because it's easier. So I'm gonna put that on the
Watch
list for
it.
sure. Will
It's like
do.
an even
That
more
100%
politically
should be on the
incorrect
list.
Seinfeld. Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
good.
MLW question for me.
This is the most egregious thing I've ever done, Spencer. I just had the open weight champion
threaten your life. Literally threaten your life. You know, priorities. What's it like working with Richard Holliday?
Ugh.
So I'm from the New England area in the States, and we have a promotion, Chaotic Wrestling, and he was a permanent fixture here in this area
poor
for a while.
them.
So I have seen him perform a lot in this area, and I was always
Or
a fan
you.
of his. Huh?
You're a fan of him?
Perform in the ring, performing. I did not know him personally.
You don't want
But I
to.
wanted to ask. How
I wish I had
have you
some
enjoyed your
popcorn.
time with Mr. Holiday?
I have not. He is like a little schoolboy. I've said this before, even on comments. I did commentary for MLW the first time last week, and I even said on commentary when we were in Tijuana, Mexico. He is like a little puppy following me around. I'll be in the locker room. I just will look over and he's staring at me. He's always trying to get one-on-one time with me. I just don't understand. But then to the public, she's gross. I'd never be with her. It's literally like dealing with a 6-year-old crush. So it's to the point now where I just let him do his thing. It's kind of fun to mess with him, play with him sometimes. Sometimes I'll reply to his, don't tell him this, I'll reply to his tweets a little flirtatious just so he thinks he has a chance. He doesn't.
I'm pretty
fine.
sure he begged you to come out to the ring down
He
in Mexico
did.
last week, and they
Sure,
were
I had
asking
no
what.
idea. And I didn't either. I was like, I'm so sick of telling him no. I gave him a yes for once.
Yeah, you know, you gotta be nice sometimes.
He's the most
Sometimes.
marketable man in wrestling.
That's what he
I mean,
says. That's what he says. I'm sorry. I brought
How
it
does he? How does he have the time to listen to you when he's got those AirPods in all the time?
I don't know. I'm actually glad that he's ditching those things because he looked like such a douche. He still does. He just has a very douchey face. But like those AirPods just added
Alex,
to
flip
it.
that.
Hey, I tell
Oh,
the truth.
no.
I tell the truth.
But that's just all feelings aside. That's just another one of those talents that you guys have at MLW that I think people sleep on. He's good.
He is good in the ring. I like watching
him.
the ring once in a while, but as a human,
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, we got about 20 minutes or so left of the show. So as we do here on Between Two Beards when we have a guest, we usually have ourselves a draft. So a 5-round draft. This because we were talking a little bit of metal earlier on the show. We are going to do a metal, new metal. I'll even add if you want to throw in a screamo band here or there. I know Pluggo, you mentioned Under Oath. Well, you know,
I mentioned Nickelback in the pre-show.
No.
Because nickels are made of metal. Does that?
Yeah,
make
that does not
them-
count.
No?
That does not count.
Oh, okay. Aren't they a
Cut it out.
Canadian treasure as well?
They are.
they are. They indeed are. People love to hate on Nickelback, but I really don't have an issue with them at all. Like they have some catchy tunes. I don't understand where the hate
I mean,
comes
if you
from.
look at it, they do. They do. I mean, they have some catchy songs. I just think I don't really know where all the super duper hatred comes from them. Like I can understand if it's not your bag, cool.
Sure.
But for some reason, they were like
I don't
the band
understand
that everyone
it.
was like, no, screw them, bro. Uh-oh. Even Wordsmith is yelling at us. He's saying, stop saying nice things about Nickelback.
Nickelback.
And Ed, this is the point where I leave. Look at this is we're not
I'm just happy you're here, Ed. Rent free, baby.
All right. So we're gonna have a 5-round metal draft.
Okay.
And as always, the guest does get the number 1 pick.
So the pressure is on. You've got
The
to.
pressure is on. You will lead us off here in the metal. Oh, you got to hear the sirens in the mean streets.
They're coming for your
behind me.
Nickelback
They're coming for me.
slander.
Yeah. So Alicia, you have the number 1 pick in our metal / new metal draft.
Okay. So you mentioned we could do screamo there.
Yes.
My favorite
We
band.
don't really have any rules.
My favorite band for that genre would have to be The Used. So The Used are
that's a
my
good one.
pick. They're one of my favorite bands of all time. I saw them in concert 8 times now. They are just incredible.
Bert.
So The
Good
Used.
old Bert.
That's the one I
McCracken.
missed. That's the one I missed.
Yeah, that's
out
the
on.
one you haven't seen, right? They were like
Yeah.
number one on your like I need to see The Used.
Yeah,
They
for
just
some
toured
reason
with Coheed and Cambria across America too. That was supposed to be insane.
that's a good
Yeah.
one. But peak The Used like 2004
In
like,
Love and Death.
Yeah, like when he's
Yeah.
jumping. Yeah, like oh man.
Yeah.
That was on my pop punk band list, I believe.
Love that.
Mm.
It's so fun.
That's
All right, Pluggo.
I had a cat named Bert when I was younger.
Did
too.
you? Was it from Bert and Ernie or was it?
No, it's from Bert McCracken.
Nice.
That's so cool.
Nice.
Fanboy over here.
Hey.
Sorry.
All right, Pluggo. You have second pick, my friend.
Well, if we're doing like now,
Hey,
I'm
we can
all
look
over
at
the
yeah,
place.
metal,
Jeez,
new
well,
metal,
James,
screamo, pop punk,
James,
just that
the
genre.
game.
Look at a lot of people like us three and plenty of others. If you you grew up in that, you probably transitioned to scream. Like it was all part of the journey. It was all part of the journey. I think. So
Yeah, Taking Back Sunday, My Cam.
exactly.
We should have had you on the pop punk.
Spencer wants someone to take Faith Hill. That's who Spencer wants someone to take Faith Hill.
Oh my gosh.
And you wonder why Alex Kane might show up at headquarters.
Yeah.
With comments like that, Spencer.
Faith Hill. All right, Pluggo.
Well, I'll take him. I'll just take him right off. I'll take Slipknot right off the board.
Oh, he did
in
it.
terms of metal. I'll just do it. Get it over with. You know, we talked about him earlier.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah. But I gotta change my whole strategy. But I'm gonna do it. I always lose these.
Well,
I don't know why. I pick good things all the time.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, Alicia mentioned them at the top when we first started talking about music. I'm gonna take System of a Down.
Okay.
That's who I'm gonna take.
That's Toxicity from like top to bottom is probably
still a banger.
Yeah.
If you listen to Toxicity right now, it holds up incredibly. It is still
It's an amazing record.
Oh
it
my
really
God.
is. My pick was gonna be System.
Sorry.
No. See, that's the draft. That's the draft.
Okay. This one I don't think anyone's going to expect, but do I go the classic route or personal? We're gonna go personal. Steel Panther.
Oh yeah, all right.
There you go.
I'm putting some Panther on. We're going balls out here, guys. We're putting
I always go personal with these drafts because, like I say, I'm not drafting for the fans. I'm drafting because I have to listen to it or I have to watch it. Right? It's for me.
Very true.
So maybe that's why I lose. I don't pander to you fans. I'm kidding. We love all of you guys. Thank you for stopping by.
Oh, nice pull, Joel Pearl in the chat. Opeth. You said,
yes.
Who's picking Opeth? Wow, that's a deep dig.
Is it actually Opeth? I thought it was OTEP, or is that two?
No, that's two different bands. There's an Opeth and an OTEP. Okay. Anyway, your pick, Pluggo.
So I'm gonna stick into I'm gonna just lean heavy into this. I'm gonna go with Hatebreed at 2.
Oh,
cool. Okay,
that's a good one.
Oh, if you ever been to I've been to a Hatebreed show.
Yes.
That is probably one of the wildest things I've ever seen. Like there was 2 dudes that fell asleep on the lawn, and Hatebreed starts up, and for some reason their fans thought it'd be a good idea to mosh around the sleeping guys. And I can't imagine waking up to that, but that's just how serious that concert got. I was like, I'm glad I'm off to the side today.
Yeah.
But yeah, those guys, as the kids say, slap.
I can't stand that word. They keep trying to get me to say. They keep trying to get me to say it on Knotfest. They want me to say this song slaps as a joke because I just can't stand it that much when the chat says it, and so I've never said it on the show.
So what's your go-to for when this song slaps? What's yours?
It's a banger.
Yeah, that's what I say. I say banger too. I go, this is a banger, man. That's what I say.
Yep.
Good on us.
Good on us.
All right.
There's me just off on my own little world again, saying slaps. It's fine.
All right. I am going to go with a band that is more current. They've been around for a while, though. But I'm going to go with August Burns Red.
That's I interviewed them not too long ago. Very cool.
Did you? I'm a big fan of this.
It's another good one. I've seen them live.
All right.
Very good.
This is difficult. I'm torn between two bands. I don't want to say one in case I don't know how many picks we got here. Okay. I gotta put Kiss.
Fair.
Is
I have
Kiss a
to.
metal band?
Yeah.
Dude, if you go back and listen to the chugs on some of those tunes, like the
I'm just waiting for Spencer to fire me up.
There's always one guy in the chat too. Is like, is that really metal? Like,
Right.
every time we're running our stream.
That's why I always, when we do
They don't
musical
use double
drafts,
bass.
I preface the questions because you have that subset of fans that's like, wait a minute. Everything is metal if it, to whoever it may be. If you think that, Miley Cyrus is metal, then
There's no
so
Spice Girls in there.
Spice Girls.
True. Spencer says, do we count makeup era versus non-makeup era? Two different bands.
Yep. See, there's always that one guy in the chat.
I had this conversation with him. It's like I love both, but it's definitely better in makeup. It just is, like, it just in terms of comparing the records and the quantity of songs that were good in one versus the other. You got to go with Kiss makeup.
All right, Pluggo, third pick.
Okay, and you mentioned Spice Girls. I'm not going to take them. My wife loves them, so shout out Mrs. Pluggo. But in that vein, I'm taking Limp Bizkit.
Hey, okay.
She always jokes that Fred Durst is her future ex-husband, which I think is weird because I'm her
even the new dad bod Fred Durst.
Dad vibes.
Dad vibes.
So
That's right. Dad vibes.
she might, if I can tell a quick story, she might yell at me for telling the story. But in her younger days, she went to a Fred Durst concert and was with her friend or something and ended up throwing her bra on stage, and he put it on the mic and shouted her out. So she's gonna hit you. Yeah, so that's Mrs. Pluggo. And I, in all honesty, though, like, I was the kid back in the day with the,
Oh yeah. I mean, we all were for a little bit, right?
Him now.
What's the funny thing about Limp Bizkit is it became like they were the biggest band of like that whole time, and then like it got really cliche to make fun of them, kind of in the Nickelback vein.
Yeah, I was gonna say they got Nickelbacked a little bit.
Everybody, they were Nickelback before Nickelback, right?
Yeah,
in terms of the hate. But when those albums, still.
Yeah, those first two albums, $3 Bills, Y'all, and Significant Other, when they came out, they were arguably one of the top 2-3 bands out there.
So
and then they just, for some reason, it became cool to
is the
not like them anymore.
Black Eyed Peas, you mean Phenomenal?
Sometimes I don't know what the hell Spencer's talking about.
No. I mean, if that was a big,
I will not stand for Fergie slander on this podcast.
All right, I'm not going to say what I was just going to say. Then I'm going to move on to my pick. So, I wasn't going to slander her. I'm not a fan of Black Eyed Peas. But anyway, well, you went with Limp Bizkit. A band that was around slightly before them, but was in the same band. One they used to be shown a lot on TRL and things of that nature. I'm going to take Korn.
Damn it!
I'm taking two. That's 2 rounds in a row that I've taken her pick.
That was literally who I was going to choose next.
Fun fact, in Alicia's contract to show up on the show, if we took her band that she was going to pick, that's an extra incentive into the payout. So Spencer,
so I'm taking Korn. Korn was actually my first like heavier band that I liked in my, like, when I first heard Blind on the radio, I was a kid, but like I was like, wow, that's the heaviest thing I've ever heard in my life. So
so for me, I got hooked simply to the bass and just how it had this kind of like elusive feel to it, but it was so heavy. And then I heard Y'all on a single and I just lost it. I could see them do that live for like I was working a show that they were doing, and it was amazing. It was by far
they're still making music too, and it's
it's they just released a song yesterday.
It's not bad either. Like they're still making pretty good music.
So
doing it for
family
30 years now, almost like 30 they're almost 30 years in. That first album was 94. Like that's a long, that's a long time. Aging myself. Sorry.
Grandpa JPJ, get off this.
I'm over here and I'm like, that record came out a year before I was born.
There we go. Yeah.
She's aging herself. We're
all aging ourselves.
Like I said, because those were the bands that it was like, if you didn't like, like the mainstream kind of stuff, and then that became kind of mainstream, but it was this weird, like Limp Bizkit and Korn were mainstream enough to be on TRL, but it was still like we don't like the bubblegum pop. So
Yeah,
And
the
then
boy
like you
bands
said,
and
it was
Britney
like-
and Aguilera and that whole thing.
it was the answer to that, and then it was the segue into like the screamo,
The screamo,
and the
Day to Remember.
hardcore, all that, good stuff.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I said it's all along the journey. If you were like, if you were a rock fan, you kind of went with the times.
Hopefully
So,
we vamped enough for you to come up with a pick because he took yours.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Well, it is a 5-round draft, so this is round 4.
Okay.
So your second to
Good to
last pick to start us off in the 4th round of this metal, just basically hard
Okay.
rock music draft.
We're missing so many iconic
I know.
bands, but it's hard to throw in the Metallicas because it's like, they're so essential. So I'm gonna go with a different route again, because I love this band, Tenacious D.
Nice.
Tenacious D. And just speaking to bringing Spence back into it, the last time I was in Edmonton, we were running errands to and from the venue, and we just blasted Kickapoo, like word for word. We were just yelling our lungs out, and it was so much fun. I love, Spence. I love that movie. That record's incredible. So, gotta go with the,
Is Spencer the
Tenacious D.
singer that everybody makes him out to be?
no.
I've never heard it live.
Spence.
I've heard it
have?
live. I heard him do karaoke to Nick Gage SummerSlam weekend. He serenaded Nick Gage. He did. And I'll have to say, and this is not me blowing smoke or trying to save our jobs because we blowing the budget again. Yeah, Nick Gage did threaten him during the song. But
So
Spencer
he's
was one of the
used
top
to-
performers of the night. Spencer was one of the room was moving when Spencer was up there.
Wait.
Are we going off of vocals here or just sheer entertainment? Because
Sheer entertainment. I would say more. He had the room going.
Entertaining.
He had
Very
the room
entertaining
going.
when he's singing.
Yeah. The word says the honesty here tonight. That's what
I love that earlier in the show, Alicia was like, I don't want to choose between Alex Kane and Spencer. Spencer's like, and she's like, but he's a terrible singer. Threw him right under the bus.
And that was
You
the
know
song
what?
he's like,
That
keep
was
your
it.
hands to yourself. Yeah.
He got
threatened.
Wait, he legit got threatened by Nick Gage?
So
I
yeah,
joked.
No, it was it was true. So Nick Gage was on stage throughout all the performances. He did not sing, but he was on there grooving. And at one point, going into the 3rd verse, like Joel Pearl says right there, Spencer went over to him and was like, "Hey, do you want to engage in the performance here?" And Nick Gage kindly looked at him, and I don't know what he said personally, but Spencer told us that he said, "No, I don't want to do that," in a very Nick Gage way.
Oh my god.
With a pizza cutter?
So yeah, Spencer tried to pull him into it, and Nick kindly and he was firmly against it. No, we'll leave it at that. But he was
I wanna do
firmly
that.
against it. Yes. So that was quite the time.
That's so funny.
Pluggo?
Spencer, I'd fight Nick Gage for you, Spencer.
You would not. I don't think you would.
You're right.
make
I
it.
would. You're
I
right.
don't-
I
yeah,
would.
I'm pretty sure you would not. That would not be a good time.
That's
for
all you, buddy. Have fun with that.
Pluggo, your 4th
Okay.
round pick.
Norma Jean.
Oh, great band.
Oh, okay. I did not see that coming.
No,
That's a great band, Pluggo. I didn't know you knew them.
Ooh.
Wow. I got punched in the face.
I have
in a pit,
layers.
and Norma Jean.
Yes, yeah.
He's
that
like
is-
an
Punched in the
onion.
face.
I'm an
I literally
onion,
took my glasses
and
off
an ogre.
and I like turned and I
Yeah.
boom right in the face. Immediate.
That happened to me one time, and it was at a local show with this hardcore band, and some kid like jacked me right in the jaw, and I was just standing off to the side. But it was in one of those territories where like if you start something,
Yeah.
you're gonna. Which I've got a story about that for my 5th band. But anyway, go
And
on.
Spencer did
That's if
say,
we don't
I can
take it."
vouch for the fact that we did close the bar that night. I can vouch for that, like Spencer said in the chat. All right. My 4th round pick. I have 2 90s bands and 1 newer one. So I'm going to go back to my heyday of screamo / kind of heavier bands. I'm going to go with The Devil Wears Prada.
Nice.
Good
That's
pick.
what I'm going with.
So I wasn't crazy into them growing up, and then I had locked down an interview with them because, of course, they're a big name in metal, and I started listening to their music for some research, and I was like, okay, like I understand now, It's never that I intentionally avoided them or anything. It's just you can't listen to everything. But when I do my
Exactly.
research, like I'll play the entire record that's new and just research away, and it's like this is some good shit. So yeah,
Mhm.
swear jar.
The
But
guitar
I
player
got it.
lived in South Bend with a friend of mine.
Oh,
for a
well, there you
little
go.
while.
So you got the in.
Oh,
Yeah,
you got
at
the
one
in.
point. I did at one point.
All
They're too
right.
big
All right.
for my britches now.
I know they did get a little popular. All right, Alicia, kicking off the last round with your last pick.
Lincoln Park.
Oh, it's a good one.
Has to
That's
be
what I
done.
was holding out for it. That's a good
At
one.
Ah.
5, that's a steal.
Yeah, for real. I was kind of thinking, is this one that's just going to elude everybody and we forget about it and then I get to take it? I was hoping.
We did that in the pop punk draft. Like Fall Out Boy lasted, and then Blink 182 didn't even
Didn't
make
even
the
get
list.
taken.
Like we forgot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Blink
wow.
182. Yeah, didn't. I don't even think. Oh no, I think Blink 182 did not get taken, and Fall Out Boy almost didn't get taken.
That's
So it was like,
crazy.
yeah, you just have these like, there's a lot of bands. Like there's only 2
Essential.
more bands for me and Pluggo to pick, and there's so many bands that we're gonna be like, wow,
Mhm.
I can't believe nobody took
Wow.
band X. All right, Pluggo.
God, it's always the 5th pick where you say there's like 4 or 5 bands.
There really is.
that you could slot into
We
this
haven't mentioned
spot.
like the Judas Priests. We haven't
Yes.
mentioned like there's so many we haven't
Yeah.
brought up even.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why limiting it as a 5 is tough. Oh man, this is tough. But I'm gonna go with the Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza at 5. Those dudes actually stayed at my house
Really?
when I lived with my parents.
That would be wild.
I go, Mom, this is gonna sound weird. They need a place to crash. I have the basement, it's huge. And she's like, what? And I bring home like these just metal dudes after a long show.
That's great.
And my mom was like, what's going on here?
Ah,
And I was like, it's cool, right? They were really nice dudes, awesome
Nice.
guys. So they make my list every time I would talk about metal just because of how
Makes
cool they
sense.
were.
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh, we missed Black Sabbath.
Well, no, we didn't miss that because that is my pick.
Your
Spencer said it in the chat, and I was like, "You son of a bitch."
JPJ
But,
always panders to Spencer because I always
No, that's not true. That's not true. Well, I was either going Iron Maiden or
Yeah.
Black Sabbath. I was like, I'm picking one of the two. In my
Yeah.
opinion, one of the two
Quintessential.
heavy. Yeah. But no, I am taking Black Sabbath with the last
Good pick.
in the draft.
Good pick.
But that's the way this draft always flows. Is like with
Yeah, there
a
was
bunch of people
nobody said
comment.
Megadeth. There was no
Yeah.
Iron Maiden. There was no Pantera. There was no. There's a lot
Like,
of bands. There was a
I
lot.
could
of
have said
bands, so.
Disturbed, which was the first
Yeah.
concert I ever went to.
Okay. Ooh.
But like,
Well,
All right.
yeah. So like,
All right.
you could go a lot of. He doesn't get you. He just reads your comments.
That's not true. I was already going Sabbath. Jeez, Pluggo. God. But on that note, I want to thank you for joining us tonight, Alicia. This has been a lot of fun, and we appreciate you coming on the show. So what we'll do is hopefully sometime this weekend, I will throw these results on the Twitter machine, and we'll have the people vote. And then whoever wins, so if you win, we will reach out to you, and then you can pick the topic of a future draft that Mr. Pluggo and myself will have on this show.
ooh, okay, guys, vote for one of my bands. Let's do this. I'm ready.
There you go. But
They
in our
never
last,
vote. They never vote for me, so it'll be a 2-person race. So
Okay.
yeah, I feel like the guest usually does pretty well in the votes because I feel like when they have to vote for either me or Pluggo, they never vote for him. But if there's a third option, they never vote for me either.
I mean,
so it's not, it's one of those things.
Alex Kane won the serial vote, I think, strictly out of fear.
Yes.
People were like, "We're
As
not."
you saw
getting
earlier
suplexed.
tonight, he is not a man you want to mess with. So,
Calvin Tankman, you better watch out.
Yeah. I love watching them rip each other to shreds. It is.
Oh,
I'm just on the sidelines. I'm like, you guys do whatever you want. It is so entertaining.
All right, Alicia, anything you would like to plug? Tell the people where they can find you, the things that you are doing currently.
Man, it has been absolutely wild lately. So if you guys just want to watch the interviews, all you have to do is search up AliciaAtout.com, and there are literally thousands and thousands of them in both the world of music, I almost said metal, in music, wrestling, and bodybuilding even. I am currently in an absolutely insane feud with one Selena De La Renta, who is a horrible human being, but support us because we are doing some insanely unique things together. Of course, MLW runs on Thursday nights. We are currently doing 8 p.m. You can watch that on our YouTube channel, simply youtube.com/Major League Wrestling, and catch us at live events. We have Dallas this month. We're in Charlotte next. Then we have some really cool other things coming up that I could not say, but it's going to be.
Oh,
just
come on, let it out.
amazing.
I'm hoping eventually Boston or the Boston area gets on the list,
Okay.
because I would very much like to come to a taping.
We'd love to have you guys. Oh, it'd be
Yes,
so fun.
yes. So
Yes.
that's where I reside. I'm like I'm waiting. Hopefully down the line sometime. But
Amazing.
See,
So yeah,
one
those
la-
are the spots.
One last question. Do you think Spencer and I could pull off the worsties gimmick for Love Wrestling?
I think if you make your crop top shorter than ours, then you have a chance.
kind of like a blue meanie,
Noted.
ish.
Yeah.
Right?
Noted. I could do that.
Absolutely.
I could
The
pull that
George
off.
everything. I think that's a look for you
Oh.
guys.
Yeah.
All right,
There you go.
Spencer, maybe we can make some of this money back.
right. For Pluggo,
Absolutely honored to have you on, Alicia. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
guys
much
so
for
much,
doing
seriously.
this, talking
Yeah.
metal with us, talking food. I think we sprinkled some wrestling.
we got
in
some
there.
wrestling in there too. We hit all the buckets, all the checkpoints.
We got
you
to
guys-
make fun of Spencer. It's a great day.
Yes, and you guys know where you can find us next Thursday. After this, hang on, we are going to raid our friends at Quest for Jewels following this show when we get off here in a second. So hang on to the channel. Go check our friends out over there. You can catch us next Thursday at 8:30 p.m., the usual time right here on this channel. Support us over at Love Wrestling. Give us a follow on YouTube. Give us a subscribe on Twitch and a follow and a like on Facebook. But until next week,
Oh, we
That
forgot
guy's
to
plugging.
mention our sponsor, Manscaped. Get 20%
we
off.
do. That is true. That is
Hope you
true.
don't mind
See,
we
that's
do
why
a
I keep you around. Yes,
We got
Manscaped.
so
If you type,
excited.
no, if you type in the promo code Love Wrestling, you will get 20% off of Manscaped. I have been a customer of theirs for years. They have great products. They keep you looking good down there. You keep it prepped up, looking good.
You
Love
don't
Wrestling.
want down there looking like up here.
Correct.
Keep it trimmed. Keep it fresh.
Yes. Not only
Keep
for
it
you,
fresh,
but
guys.
your
For-
partner
for your-
will love
for your
it too.
partner.
They'll love, yes. Their products are excellent. You go to manscaped.com, you type in Love Wrestling. Let them know that we sent you there and that you're digging our little match that we have with them. And that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you, Pluggo. I almost
I
blew
knew
it.
I knew I was good.
We
for
also have
something.
Water Maneuver. If you go to watermaneuver.net/collections/love-wrestling-ca, you can see some of our shirts that we have up there. There will be some Between Two Beards shirts coming soon, as well as some of your other Love Wrestling favorites.
As long as we don't get fired.
Correct. But yeah, no, go check that out. We have some nifty shirts. We have some ones Live, Laugh, Love Wrestling, plus our standard Love Wrestling logo shirts. Go give that a check out and buy some shirts. All right. RK Athletics 1 on the social media. If you're looking for personal training in person or the word that I'm blanking on, virtually, sorry. You can follow them at RK Athletics 1 on all social media platforms. We want to thank them. They've been with us since day one here at Love Wrestling, and they're a great group of people. We want to thank Alex Kane as well for dropping by that video. And I know we've done it, but one more time, we want to thank Miss Alicia Atout for joining us tonight. This has been a lot of fun. We hope to have you on again sometime soon. Thank you for everyone in the chat hopping in and making the night easy for us with your comments and your questions. Next Thursday, Love Wrestling. We will see you then. For Pluggo, Alicia, and myself, Between Two Beards, we're out.
Deuces.